Hello and welcome to a new video in the Farsi script. In today's video we are going to talk about the Saad and the Ta. For letter Saad, which is the one we're going to start with today, we add 1 point and we are going to use the third of the thickness to write the first move. We start here, we go up to the right and use third this move. This way we started with the first move for the Saad. The second one would be the same thing with this one. So we went up here and now from here we are going back again with 1 point. Now here it will be 2/3. So you go down and you use 2/3 of the pen and you stop here. Finally, you're going to do the cup of the Saad, and it is quite similar to the scene one. And for that one, if you remember, we added 1 point here, we dragged this part down here, and we took 3 points from the inside. And we are going to do the inside of it. Now, a note about the inside parts. As you can see here, the majority of the letter is going to the left, because here we've got big space, meanwhile on the left we don't have big space. So if there was a ball to go inside this letter, it will balance here. It's basically going more to the left, just like this. So the ball would balance in this way, not in the center of the cup itself. Now this is for the Saad by itself. When it connects, we have several connections. The first one is when it connects with Ha, Mim, Ra, Ha, Ya. For that one, we are going to use the quarter or third, go back and use this move. So the move here is the one that connects with letters from above. As we saw, quarter, go back and do this. This way you will have space to connect a hat to it. For example, صح. You have space to connect a meme. And etc. with the letters that follow this rule, for example, ha, ra, and etc. So the first move is the up and down, this one. The second one would be the normal Saad that connects with, for example, alif or ba. For that one again, we use the quarter for the start, then the 2/3. We stop up here. This is the nabira for the Saad. Then you would connect it, for example, with an alif. So if you were to write Salih, or with a ba, Sab. Now here you need to keep an eye on the fact that you need 2 nabira, one for the Saad and another one for the ba. There's also the possibility or the option of connecting the Saad using the kshida. So for that one you are going to use the same thing, 2/3, and then you will add the kshida elongation. For example, Sabir. So we're talking about the elongation after the Saad. You could add that if it requires you to do so in a script. So we've seen the one that comes with Ha, Mim, Ra, Ya and Ha. We saw the normal one that comes normally with any letter, and we saw the option of having it elongated. Now the elongation could be 5, 7, 9 or 11 depending on how much you want it to be. When we connect the Saad from the right, we use the tip of the pen to add this part. Now you would add it so that the Saad would merge with it. So for example, here you could have ينص, ya, noon, and Saad, as you can see here. So to connect Saad from the right, you use the tip of the pen, then you merge the Saad with that tip right here. Next we are going to talk about the ta, and for the ta we have several cases for the connection. The ta is kind of similar to the Saad, but when you write it, we need to focus on something, which is the following. It is longer than the Saad, and it's in a way thinner. So for the ta, we are going to add half a point here, followed by 1 point. So we're coming from this half up, and we stop here. So this is the first move, just like the Saad one, but with different scaling. The second one will end with this one, but here we are going to use the move that we use with the ra. So we start with a pen like this, and we rotate the pen so that it will disappear, just like this. It's not full thickness. You start with 2/3 and you go down to 0. From here, now of course the elongation here would be quite small, it's almost half a point. The height of the alif for the ta is 3 points. 1, 2, 3, and you do it here. This is the ta by itself. Now in some scripts, some calligraphers, the ta does not close, stays open down here. So the Persian, like the Persian type of it. So you could use either the open one or the closed one. We're talking about this small opening down here. The cases when we connect a ta. Now the first one would be, we would use the full thickness of the ta and we connect it to letters that are going up, such as alif, dal, kaf, lam. For that one, we do the same start we did here. And when we go back, you go with a full thickness, so that when you go up, as you can see here, it's quite cheeky and lovely, the change of thicknesses in it. The same thing for dal. If you were to write a dal, you would go back, you stop closer, and you finish this. Now this is the first case for the letters that are going upward. The second case would be for any letter, if you were to connect it with whatever. For that one, you are going to use the same one as the first one by keeping it thin. Then, for example, you would connect it to about طب, for example. If you were to write a letter before it, for example, حطب, we would use this ha. This is too big, let's use this one. And the ta would come right here, barely touching this part. And finally the ba would come from here. Now I'm focusing more on the ta and what's connected to it more than the letters afterwards, so don't mind those. The main thing about this is that you stop with the same thing as this one, then you continue the letter. Now the other option for it, now here, as we can see, we go upward. This is the second option. The third option would be not to go up, but to go down. So for that one, you've got a ta, and you would just continue it with the line going downward, just like this, which is 1/3. Then you would connect it with, for example, a'in, ta'an, qaf, so the difference between this one and the one before is this. So this one comes with a straight line downward, meanwhile the other one, you're going with the same shape as that one. So there's a difference between shapes in this second move. The third, now this is the third, the fourth shape. For that one we are going to use it with a ra. We use the full thickness in this one, and it's basically like the sin and any other letter. So with this one you are using the full thickness and you're going with this curve. The one before it was just going straight, the third one. And you, so طريقة for example, the fifth one we are going to use it with mim ha ra ha. It's similar to the one before, but it's not the full thickness, it's the third of the thickness. So for that one, if you were to connect it with a ha, ta, third, and you would use, for example, whatever, طحين. This should be shorter and turned here, for example. So we're talking about this one is not the full thickness, it's the third the thickness. مطمئنة, for example, you've got a meme going all the way down to a ta, and after the ta we have a meme, so we're using the third of thickness, doing this motion, then connecting it with a meme, and here we could use the kshida and the ta marbuta. مطمئن. Now the alif here is just the same as a normal alif. You just have to practice the normal alif in order to do that one. The same thing about going to the right and stuff. The same rules apply to this one. The sixth part, we use the third of it, and we use it with, it's longer than the ones before. So it's like the second one. So you do the ta, and the second one stopped here. Meanwhile, this one will elongate up to here. We use it with letters, for example, such as ta or saad, to add space between the two letters. If you had a kaf alif, this letter is big, so you need a space between those two, and that's when we use the sixth one. The seventh one again comes with ha, and meme. For this one, we are going to use 2/3 of the pen, and we do this. For example, tahara. We use this with meme, ha, ra, yeah. The eighth one, for this one we are going to use, similar to the first one, we use it with ba, so 3/4, and we stop here. Now this will add a ba or a ya or a ta here. So you would take this and tabi'i, for example, this is a ba or a ta or a tha. It's like going up and stopping. The ninth would be a ha inside a ta. We do the normal way of the ta, then we add this move to it. It's like a sharp move downward. So we meet the first move, the second move, then we add 3/4 of a thickness to it. For example, tahur. There's a ha in here. It's like in the thuluth we have this ha. Just like the ha in the thuluth, we use this one for the Farsi. The 10th one would be the kshida thing. So we could use ayn connect it to a ta, then use a long connection, and here we have the word adr. So it's the connection here. This is for the ta and the Saad. As we saw, we've got several shapes of them. Usually they change due to the letter after them. We saw the singular one here. The first part would be a quarter of the thickness, the second part is 2/3 of the thickness, then this one would be full, and etc. Here we have a special connection for the Sa. Now here, the nudge we do upward is the nebula for the Saad. So here we didn't use it, here we didn't use it. You have to be careful. We only use this nudge if we had the letter that connects from above. And we saw how it connects with those two cases and how it connects when something comes out before it. Then we saw the ta, and for the ta we had lots of cases. For each case you have to stop there, write the notes, why they differ from each other, and you've got good amount of practice here with the ones that we talked about, and you could check things online or words to practice them. I hope you enjoyed this video. This has been Ammar Abadi, and see you in the next one. Like, subscribe and share if you find these videos interesting. Goodbye.